Hello again, and today I will make a model for biomass gasification in Aspen Plus. And as I always says before starting my videos, I am assuming that you already know how to navigate Aspen Plus and you know what you are doing, so I will not go into details. I will just make a biomass gasification model as quickly as possible. So just go to the file and start a new simulation and start adding components. Biomass, it should be non-conventional, and then we will need ash. Ash will also be non-conventional component. After that we'll need carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur, oxygen. We will also need water, and then carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, SO2, SO3, NO2 for NOx, NO, ammonia also, HCl also, and of course methane and hydrogen sulfide. If we need more components, then we'll come back here later. Now to select methods, Peng-Robinson with a BM method is most recommended for biomass gasification, so I will go with that method. Peng-Robinson, and now you need to add some parameters there for binary interactions, NC props. You need to add for biomass and for ash both. So biomass, select HCOL gen, and here write 6, and for density decomposite, and don't change anything. And for ash, again do the same process, HCOL gen, and now don't change anything, and decomposite. And there also, then go to the simulation. So I will skip the drawing part here, so I will just go directly to the decomposition and gasification block. So we'll start with RYield and we'll name it decomposition block. We need stream here and we'll name it biomass, and output I would name it intermediate biomass for the time being. And now to add components, and before we can just do the setup to change some properties. I will go for SI, or you can add new units. So I think we can just define it here, new units, and then kilogram per second, kilomole per second is fine. Temperature I would need in degrees Celsius, delta T again degrees Celsius, and enthalpy flow I would go for megawatt. Concentration I would also go with megawatt. What else I would need here? Nothing. Okay, so I will select this new here. Stream class, we will add non-conventional also in terms of mixed, and maybe we will also need CI solid, but I would skip for the time being for that. Okay, so let's go to the biomass stream. Double click there, go to NC solid, and temperature would be 25 Celsius. Pressure, okay, around 1 bar. Mass flow rate, I would go for 15 kilogram per second, and mass fraction biomass 1. Now we have to add the component attribute, so let's start with ultimate analysis. So ultimate analysis, I have some values pasted. So 15% ash, 52.9% carbon, hydrogen 7.3, and rest you can see here. With proximate analysis, I would have these values. Moisture I can just change to 10% for the time being. And sulfate analysis, here I have these values. So that values can be changed later, so I'm just using some random values here, so they can be correct and they can be incorrect, because when you are modeling via simulations, it's just garbage in, garbage out, so you need to know what you are entering. And now with decomposition block, your temperature would be again 25 and pressure would be same. So if you mention 0, so there will be no pressure drop. And then you see what are the component yields. Okay, we will have ash there, of course, we will have carbon, we will have hydrogen, we will have nitrogen, we will have chlorine, we will have sulfur and oxygen, and then water. All of them are in mass basis we will enter. So one way is to just calculate what is the composition based on the inputs you do, but as I mentioned, I'm trying to make it flexible model, so that's what I will do it here. So I will just add some values, 0.1, 0.1, which are not correct, which needs to be changed, because right now required input is complete. So if you run it, it will run and give you the wrong answer. So what you will do, you will go to calculator block, flow sheeting options, calculator, and then you will name a new and use yield, and there you need to enter some inputs and outputs variables. So one variable is alt, water, ash, carb, H2, N2, Cl2, sulf, oxygen, and water. So you can see all the variables: alt, water, ash, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur, oxygen, and hydrogen. So let's start from the first. Alt will be import variable. We will import the ultimate analysis. We will import the moisture in the biomass that we enter, and then we'll start exporting the rest of the variables. We will export ash from our calculator block and every other block. It is time consuming, but then your model will become much flexible. Oxygen export, and this water will be export. And now you need to define everything. For example, ultimate we are importing, so you need to go this vector, and stream is of course biomass, non-conventional, it will again biomass, and what you are importing, you are importing ultimate analysis. For water again, but now you are importing only one variable, so not the whole vector. You can import the whole vector there also, but you don't need it. Component biomass, attribute ultimate, and element 1. As you go there and you check, first element is moisture, so it will be moisture. If you write 2, then it will give us fixed carbon, 3 volatile matter, and 4 ash. Yes, and then ash you are exporting now this. You will calculate it from here and you will export this variable to block. Block variable, which block? Decomposition block. What was the variable? Mass yield, and it will be ash, and id2 is consider it mixed for the time being. No, it will be non-conventional, not mixed. I will just do another one and then I will go quickly. Block variable, block this one, variable mass yield, id carbon. So here if you are measuring carb, here you should select carbon here, otherwise it will be give you value which will be wrong. Okay, so now the last I failed everything. Hydrogen, again it's a water block variable. Now we are exporting. Variable is mass yield and id is water, and that one will be mixed. And now you, based on your variables, you need to paste this code here. I will tell what this code is doing. So first there is a factor which is calculating water. So this water was import variable. So it is getting it is taking what is the vector, what is the composition without water. So water will be, which we are exporting, will be actual water, which was 10% by 100, so it will give 0.1 into yield reactor. If we enter 40, I will tell you it will give 0.4 there. And same then ash and carbon and nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur, oxygen will be normalized based on it, because the values we are putting here is based on without moisture. So this is dry value, but in actual it contains moisture, so that's why this is the, you can see, code. I will paste this code in description also, so you can just copy paste it, or you can just pause it and just write it there. And now we just run it and we will see if the program will give us any error. Yes, now program is completed and program gives 14 errors. We can check what are the errors. So this is component attribute ultimate analysis is missing for component ash, and same thing with sulfate and proximate analysis. So we think we go for here component attribute, and here, because we are asking this reactor to give us ash, but we are not giving its proximate and ultimate analysis. So its proximate analysis, ash will have 0 moisture, 0 fixed carbon, 0 volatile matter, and 100% ash. And with ultimate analysis it will have 100% ash and then 0% other things. And with sulfate analysis it's 0, 0 and 0. And now you reset it, and then we run the model again, and now we shall see. Hopefully there won't be any errors now. Okay, see, now we get a warning 1, which should not be the case. So warning is what issued. The following elements are not in atomic balance. They should be in atomic balance. So we can check in calculator block why they are not. And here it would say water 15%, but if you remember we put the water 10% here, moisture, so it should be 10%. So then we check the inputs. So water, we are importing it, yes, correct. Variable biomass, okay, we are importing ultimate analysis, which is wrong. So if you go there, so in ultimate analysis it is importing this ash. So as I mentioned before, it's these kind of models are garbage in, garbage out, so you know what you are doing. So there it should be proximate analysis, and now it will give us correct values without any warnings and without any errors. So I think that was a good learning there also. Okay, now the model run is complete and you see there are no errors or warnings were issued during simulation. There were some warnings, I guess, in input translation, which you can just ignore. And now our model is flexible. So let's see, let's check the results from intermediate biomass. And now you see the mass fraction. And you see water is 0.1, oxygen is 0.19, and everything is intact. We can just check it again. Let's say if the moisture is now, instead of 10, it's 12%, and now you run it back and the result will contain moisture as 12% and other ultimate component analysis, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine and sulfur will be adjusted accordingly. So you can just see here water is 12% and rest are adjusted accordingly, and when you will add all of them it would be 100%. Yes, so now we have to gasify this, and then you need another reactor. If you are not sizing and you are just estimating the composition of syngas, then just use RGibbs reactor, and I would name it Gasifier. Connect this intermediate stream there and then add another stream, and I would name is syngas 01. And now gasifier, you need pressure. I think you are operating at 1 bar or 100,000. Temperature would be, you can just change 1123 like 850 Celsius. Yep. And products, which are very important, you need to mention what are the products you are, identify possible products. So model will run hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur, oxygen, water, and then carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. You can then again sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide also. You can just avoid it if you want to don't make things complicated. Ammonia, HCl, methane and chlorine also. I think we put chlorine. Okay, we put chlorine already, so that's fine. Yes, and specifications, restrict, equilibrium, direction extents, and then you need to put some reactions. Add new reaction and add, first reaction would be carbon monoxide and water, which will produce carbon dioxide and hydrogen. It's already balanced, so you don't need to do anything. Temperature approach 2 degrees Celsius. Other reaction, easy one, carbon dioxide plus oxygen, and you will get CO2 -1, -1 and 1. And again temperature approach use 2. And then you have another reaction where carbon will react with oxygen to produce carbon monoxide. -1 minus 0.5, and then carbon monoxide will be 1, temperature approach 2. Another reaction there, nitrogen will react with hydrogen to produce ammonia, minus 3, nitrogen -1, and then we will have ammonia with 2. And then we will have methane and hydrogen reaction. Methane will react with water, not hydrogen. It's a reforming reaction. It will produce carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Reaction, you need to balance it, otherwise it will give error. Temperature approach use 2, and I guess with previous reaction again you are using 2 degrees Celsius temperature approach. And now for the 6th reaction, we need hydrogen reacting with sulfur to produce H2S. Action is balanced, so you don't need to do anything, but you need to write temperature approach 2. And you need to add last reaction. It's hydrogen plus chlorine. It will produce hydrochloride. So if you are not using, if you are making your model very simple one and without any sulfur and hydrogen in your biomass, then you can just avoid these reactions. 2. Run your model. So it gives one error, Sware errors. The number of reactions is not equal to the number of participating species minus the effective number of atoms. So I think we need to go back to the reactor and we need to delete this SO2 and SO3 because we are not using their reactions. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Let's see if it will be fine. Hydrogen, no, 10, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, let's run and see if it will operate or it will give again error. Okay, this time no errors or warnings were issued. We can just check. Yes, but there is a main problem with this right now because we are gasifying and we are not giving it any oxidizing material, so it is using the oxygen which is already present in the biomass. Again, as I mentioned, garbage in, garbage out, so you need to know. We need to add air there also. Let's say air, and composition of air we already know. Go for mole fraction. It's 79% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. I will make it very simple. And you need to check which temperature you are providing air. Let's go for 25 Celsius for the time being. It can be like in actual industrial process, air will be preheated, but here we are making it simple, and I'm using 5 kilogram per second. It can be it needs to be some like some ratio. You would say stoichiometric ratio of 0.4, 0.6, that we can also modify it via calculator block. Okay, now the run is complete and you can check the syngas composition. After adding air, we can check the mole fraction. You see there is very less carbon. Hydrogen is 14%, nitrogen is 16%, and very less sulfur. Water is also very less, and carbon monoxide is 41%, and methane is 26%. So I do not know if the values are right or wrong. You need to modify it, and maybe we need to check or modify the quantity of air required. That you can just do it. You can calculate it manually, or you can just modify it via calculator block. Maybe add new and add air, and from air, for example, we need to add 40% of the required oxygen, stoichiometric oxygen required. We need to check carbon. We need to add what is the amount of hydrogen and oxygen, and then we need to export air. So carbon will be import variable, oxygen will also be import variable, and I think hydrogen is also import variable, and last air will be export variable. We'll start with carbon. It would be stream variable. We want to see intermediate biomass, how much carbon is there in terms of, I would say, mole flow. Kilomole per second would be fine. Hydrogen again, stream variable, stream intermediate biomass next, and mole flow. I think no, we will go for not stream variable, we'll go for mole flow, and we need to add component hydrogen there. Similarly with carbon, instead of stream variable, we just need to go for mole flow, and we need to add component. Oxygen again, mole flow, and intermediate biomass and oxygen, and air we will go for stream variable, because now we will send the whole stream back. Air and substream will be mixed, and variable will be mole flow. Okay, so now we have all the variable list. So first, air required will be, for carbon we need 1 mole of oxygen, and plus hydrogen we need 0.5 mole of oxygen for every mole of hydrogen, and then we need to minimize oxygen which is already present. So this will be the air required, not air required, oxygen required. Sorry, oxygen required will be this, oxygen required, and air required will be oxygen required divided by 0.79 to incorporate nitrogen also. So the air which we will send back is 40% of air required. So this will be quite easy. So model is now flexible. So again I would like to reset it, and then I would save it and then run it. Okay, so the model was giving error because I was using variable name with underscore. I think Fortran does not take variable names with underscore, so you need to use it without it. And now the model is run without any error, and you see it read the values for carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in kilomole per second, and it had the value of air 0.17, but in actual it sends the value 0.36 back. So now if you change the mass flow rate of biomass to any mass, it will adjust air accordingly as a 40% air, 40% of stoichiometric air required for that composition. And similarly it will also run it will also adjust its composition based on whatever you put there. And we can also check now the composition back, molar flow composition, mole composition. Yep, it gives hydrogen 24%, carbon monoxide 37%, nitrogen and carbon dioxide very less amount. It should be a little bit higher. Let's do something else. Instead of using temperature approach, we would do the heat duty 0 and make it adiabatic reactor, and let's see if it runs accordingly and gives us some different results. Okay, so now I changed without any reaction. So I changed calculate phase equilibrium and chemical equilibrium with heat duty 0, and we can again reset it and check the results. And yes, now we can see the results. Mole fractions. Again, there is no carbon dioxide, there is no water, and we can know why that this is the case, because we are giving less amount of oxygen, and we are so the model is in equilibrium. The model is not using all the oxygen, it's not converting into carbon dioxide and water, so it's converting carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So that is the case. So what else we can do? We can just add a steam gasification also, to add some amount of water there to make it more realistic. And also in most of the gasification case, steam will be required. So let's assume we have a steam available of 350 Celsius and we have a steam available at 25 bar. Mass flow rate, I would assume 5 kilogram per second, around 1/3 of the biomass, and mole fraction would be water 1. Temperature of gasification I already changed, if you see, to 850 degrees Celsius. And now we can run and we can see if in syngas can we get small amount of water and carbon dioxide. Results are available, so we can go and we can check mix upstream and mole fraction. Hydrogen, yes. We have carbon dioxide, yes, we have 3% carbon dioxide, that's fine. Carbon monoxide also, and water also. So yep, so apart from carbon monoxide and hydrogen, now we have carbon dioxide and hydrogen also, and very small amount of methane also present. We have some amount of nitrogen also present. But when you are producing biofuels from gasification, then this nitrogen will not be required, and the best way is to use only steam gasification as a gasifying material, or we can just go use air separator unit there instead of air, and we can just have air separator unit. And how we can do it? We can just do it now. We can just have a separators, and there let's use a very simple air separator unit without any fuss. Reconnect to destination air, and then we will separate oxygen and we will send it to gasification O2, and we will add nitrogen to atmosphere. Okay, so yep, and in separator we will have oxygen. Outlet stream we will have split fraction of, let's assume 1, just for the simple, and then the rest will be nitrogen in nitrogen stream. But in actual, air separation unit is quite complicated, and it has series of compression and other processes, which is another subject to model, but here I am just doing it for simplicity. Run is complete, and now we can see the results. There is no very less amount of nitrogen present, and now we have hydrogen 53%, 36% carbon monoxide, 5.7% water, and 3.6% carbon dioxide, which is more realistic syngas composition. So the video is already very long, so I will finish this video now, and in next video I will use the same model and convert this syngas into other useful fuels, whether it can be methanol, it can be biomethane, or it can be dimethyl ether. And for this we need water gas shift reactors here, where we need to maintain hydrogen to carbon monoxide ratio for certain kind of fuels, and that we will do in next video. So till then, bye, and hopefully I'll get a time soon to make that video. In the meantime, you can subscribe and you can comment on the errors which I did, on the inputs which I should use or not. Well, this model is very flexible. You can now change any biomass value or any biomass composition. Just make sure these are kind of make sense, and then amount of air will be fine. We can also use calculator block to adjust the amount of steam, like steam to biomass ratio, but I will not do it now. Thank you, take care.